So good evening, everyone. Let me just transit this over. So hi, everyone. Everything looks okay. So good evening, everyone. So there's already questions in there. Let's see. I'll just crack straight on, and we'll get through as many as your questions as possible. And I'm here for 10 minutes, or I'm here for 2 hours, whatever. As long as your questions keep coming in, then I'll keep answering, and then we'll go from there. So I'll say hi to everyone, because if not, I've got to go through each individual name, and then from there it'll just that'll take up 20 minutes, won't it? So and then in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes time, I'm going to be doing an announcement, some announcements, and a giveaway, which is becoming more and more frequent on the channel. But it's all good. Means that you get something as well as the content on the channel. So that's all good, isn't it? So let's see. Let me try and find the first one. So a question, or all the questions. Super excited to make this live. So welcome to the live then, Tony. You can have as many questions as you like. You can jump the queue. I keep forgetting to do this. There is a super chat option down there at the bottom. However, it takes about 2.5 months for me to get your super chats. And the last one got the lens that I was getting. I think the next thing is going to be a new key light, but for the lives and for the home studio, or you can do it via PayPal, which I'll get put into the comments, which is chaz.kelly@hotmail.co.uk, and those happen immediately. And I do need to say thank you to someone, because I received a PayPal to help contribute towards the channel. I've just forgot their name. That's all it is. So I'll quickly grab their name, and then we'll crack on with your questions. So see which one it is. For some reason my thumbprint ain't working now on my phone. Perfect. Ah, come on. Do you know what? That'll have to wait. For some reason it's not doing it. I don't know why it's not doing it. So oh, that's really annoying. Really annoying. I don't know if it about you, but it's red hot here. So maybe my thumb. Why is that not working? Why is my thumbprint not working? There, it's working. Perfect. Okay, so I need to thank Crystal Lee for her £20 donation for what we do here on YouTube. So it's question from Facebook. So someone left one on Facebook called Susan Johnson. And is it normal for visions or pictures of people and events to just pop in my head unbidden? Side note, if I ask about these things, they are true psychic things that are or have happened, because I have recently started trying to validate all these events with the people that pertain to. Also, where is this information coming from? It can be psychic. Immediately, I forgot to show you. Look, I've got a new whiteboard. I need to change my camera to see that new whiteboard. Woohoo! With an annoying little pen on the side, so that can go away. Okay, so when we're receiving information from people, it usually means that we are actively moving the mind, and to do that, our energy will pick that up. It has to be intention, so whether you feel like you're intentionally looking for information or not is irrelevant. You're doing it subconsciously or consciously to receive that information. So where are you receiving the information from? If it is psychic being reading someone's energy, it will be from their auric field, so this space around us, which is very simple to draw. So the information will be within that auric field. And if it's the spirit world that are communicating, then it comes from the spirit world. Quite simple, quite easy to understand. The visions, are more than likely psychic. So you'll be in the company of someone, or you're thinking of someone, or wherever them thoughts are going. You know, it may be they're coming from the spirit world, but there's a slightly adjusted mechanic to that. So I would say you're picking it up from their energy. And why can't I have more control of this? You absolutely can have more control of it. It's one of the hardest things people try to master during mediumship or psychic work. It's a discipline of mind. So you are the only one in control of it. You are allowing it to happen. Therefore, you're in control of it happening. And so the control is entirely with you. So if you want more control, it just requires more discipline of the mind. I'm already going dry on the throat, so hopefully, I didn't ask, you can all hear me okay, I assume. Deborah, hi Charlie, Carol, everyone. I would like to know, how does one go about being a true medium after our heads being filled with other mediums' teachings? That is a great question, Deborah. It's actually very difficult because the foundation that you are you have set yourself up on. You've built your mediumship from the ground upwards. Is very difficult to remove any idea that another teacher has given you. And that's why in the majority of cases, I absolutely love working with beginners. I get maximum results in a very short space of time when they haven't had a teaching. It's actually very difficult to break the shackles of a foundation, or if someone's been practicing an awful lot via that teaching that causes restrictions. So it's very difficult, Deborah. But one that you can grow out of, but you have to work hard. It's one of those things that you have to prove yourself wrong almost. My back's starting to hurt here. One that you have to sort of show yourself that you can get away from this restrictive way. But a wonderful question. Miss Brit 86, I just binged a bunch of Facebook videos after finding you last week. Love the simplicity. Thanks. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many there is now. I know Facebook's not as many as YouTube. They're delayed for Facebook. I don't want them all going there because I want the traffic as such to go to YouTube. But there is 210 uploads now, I think. 210 videos on the YouTube channel now. So a great opportunity to say that if you aren't subscribed, go over and subscribe, and that will help me, and like and comment on the videos. You can even do the thumbs down, like the clown that I've got going through every one of my videos, doing one thumbs down, because that still gives me engagement. And I don't think that individual realizes that. But ho hum. My chat just jumped an awful lot there, so I am getting through them. That's another thing. If you want to jump to the top, I do that because Super Chat jumps up. It will throw you to the top. So that is one way to beat the queue. If you are growing impatient. So hi everyone. Roberta C reading. Roberta C reading. Reading. Hi Charlie, is there a message for me and my son, my angel or guides, that I need to know regarding our future? I don't do live readings, Roberta. I'm very passionate about that, actually. On live feeds, it's a very private time, and something that is for you and your loved ones to discuss. And I think there are too many people devaluing mediumship because of these forums and channels that do these constant live readings with no evidence or lack of depth. they undermine mediumship. So it brings the standard of mediumship down, because everyone's got a smartphone and they can get a mic and they can go online here or on Facebook and destroy what pioneers have worked at for like 170 plus years now, to give it some credit and value. And then some numpty jump on claiming to be a medium and destroy all that hard work. So not for me. So you won't be getting a reading on a live, fortunately or unfortunately. Good evening, Amanda, Hanara. Good picture and sound. Good. So, oh, that's John. Nice one, John. Hi. Hello from Sweden. Hello from the UK. So misresponsibility. Does spirit ever have what we would consider negative emotions? For example, I hear mediums say about the communicator, he's angry about. Would this not be evidence versus what the spirit feels? I think it's just evidence of the character. You know, like if your dad was an angry man that would very quickly react to a scenario where his daughter, was under fire or going through some topsy-turvy kind of emotions in your world down to someone else. And in the physical life, your dad would react to that. I think we as mediums are trying to explain that your dad would have been angered by this scenario. Your dad would have responded in this way in this scenario. Are they actually going through that range of emotions? I think we look at it in a human perspective, not a spirit perspective. And from the spirit point of view, I think they see the worry we put ourselves through, the anxiety we put ourselves through, the traumas we put ourselves through. And they get to see the whole picture. They get to see everything. So I don't think your dad is actually angry in this example. I think it's the evidence of the personality of the dad that we are trying to present. Jane says, hi Charlie, what do you do if you have a client that isn't very pleased with the relative that has given the communication, that wants someone different if they don't come through? Well, it completely depends on your own mediumship, Jane. So let me draw it for you. Get to use my new board. So what happens is you put your mind to the spirit world, and that would be that there. I've got a funny story for you, actually. I was doing this last time. I don't know if my dad is watching right now, but he texted me last time while I was drawing. My phone flashed up and he went, "You really need some art classes. You're a terrible drawer." So your mind goes to the spirit world, and every single person that we have known or had a part of the journey with can be within this. This is what we mean by the brotherhood of man. In the spiritual principles, the spirit world, we are part of a oneness, and because we're part of the oneness, your mind has just found one relative here, but all the other relatives are also there within it. So dependent how strong of a medium you are or how confident you are in that process, if I go out and go, I've got dad here, and she was like, well, I don't want to speak to dad, he was so-and-so and blah, 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 whatever it was, then I'll just move my mind and go and get mum maybe, or their mate, or their work colleague, or whatever. But that's my style of mediumship, and then the evidence will cater for that to show you that I have your person that you was waiting to hear from. I'm saying your person rather than your loved one, because your person may be someone that you had a terrible life with, but we need to administer some healing in some way, and maybe that communication comes in the form of healing and acceptance that they were bad, and then your life can move forward from that scenario, so rather than just loved one. So that's how I would deal with that, Jane. I would just go grab someone else. You can do that to order. Some mediums don't agree with it, but if your evidence is perfect and bang on and in depth and you unfold the story, then there's not a problem there. It's if it's vague and not very strong that it could be argued that it's a psychic mechanic, which I agree with. But the evidence should cover it there. Hope that answers you, Jane. Terry says, when a child at the age, let's say 5 years old, passes, do they come to you in mediumship to communicate at the age they passed? Wonderful question there, Terry. And they will always come through at the age of 5 because that's their evidence. So their story begins, then life, and then I'll say passing. I don't like writing death. So we've got Amra. Need dual monitors. So we've got birth. Oh, get rid of the reflection. Birth, right? Birth. Then they have their life, and then they have their passing. That is the only evidence we have, is that span there that goes across here. So it can only be from 0 to, let's say, 5. Then that's only their evidence. You cannot bring them through at 35 because no one knew them at 35. No one has seen them, and their physical body, the whole thing that harbours the evidence aspect of that was buried or cremated or whatever. Whatever we've done with that body. So it will always be up to the age of 5, always. Great question though, Terry. Raven Fire Phoenix. Hi, why do we have guides if we have to learn? And yet most people don't even know we have guides. Why do we have to have guides? For me, I think it's in my understanding, I think the guide is more of like a facilitator. You know, like they will help me with experience. They will help me through guiding me through maybe life design. I'm someone that believes that I'm part of the life contract before I come here, and the team that I surround myself with was an agreed team. I don't think they just randomly turn up. I think it's assigned, and I'm part of that assigning. And so therefore, I think they're a facilitator. I think they're like they're instructing the spirit communicator on how their instrument works. So that would be the medium. Now, there are a lot of mediums out there that don't really understand their own mediumship. And some people, maybe some of you guys on this live here, you have trained yourself to say, right, if they come in from the right-hand side, it means that they're from mum's side of the family. And if they come in from the left-hand side, it means they're dad's side of the family. And if I get like a little shiver down my face, that means this. And if I get a little shiver down my back, that means this. I think the guide is like the facilitator to the spirit communicator, because they'll go, right, what side of the family are you from? Because my medium's so caught up with telling you what side of the family they're from, you need to approach them from a certain side. So you're going to have to approach them from the right. If you're from mum's side of the family, you're going to have to approach them from the left. And if you want that statement said, you're going to have to give them a little tingle on the face, and so on and so forth. And you start to understand how restrictive we make mediumship when we do it this way. And I think the guide is like the vocal instruction manual of the medium stroke instrument that the communicator is about to embark a communication with. I think that makes sense. If not, watch it on replay and listen to it again. But I'm sure that makes sense. Great question, though. Thank you. So hi. I see Carol's put up there PayPal for the YouTube donation for the donations for the channel is just for the YouTube channel. It's not for the Zoom classes or anything like that. So bear that in mind. It is just for donations to channel. Yeah. Tony says, "Hi Charlie, lately I haven't been getting the relationship as strongly as I used to. Where I am getting it wrong is if it's a colleague, uncle or cousin." I think, I think maybe you're putting too much emphasis on the relationship. Like I have said it a number of times that if my 18-year-old sister comes through, if you talk about parties and her colourful language and her colourful dress sense and what she did for a living and the times that we spent, I don't need you to say sister. You're. I think maybe you're being taught that your format needs to be disassembled in some way. Because you'll always go for the relationship, and it's not necessary all of the time. Your evidence can cover that. So maybe they're trying to show you just loosen up a little bit, and that way your communication can flow rather than putting all the emphasis and the energy on, oh no, I haven't got the relationship, I need to get this relationship, and then when you go for it, you get it wrong. And the other way, so I've just read the continued part of that. It feels distant to me, so I'll say friend, and the sitter will say it's an aunt or something like that. How can I get it clearer? You can use, maybe it's not part of the story that they want to share. Maybe again, I revert back to the answer I've just given you. But if you want to dial it in, if you want to restrict it in a way where you definitely want to answer that every single time, you can use your own ancestry, your own team, your own understanding with, what a mum feels like, what a dad feels like, a brother, a sister, a friend, a colleague, an auntie, a great auntie, a distant auntie, a stepmom, a stepdad, an in-law. We can do it that way. But for me, it's just a little bit restrictive. I think you're being taught in my opinion. I think maybe keep trying to dial it in if it's important to you. But I think maybe just ease up on it, and your person will know because you're paying more attention to the story that needs to unfold rather than the one that you want to unfold, if that makes sense. Main biggie. So when we are saying what the spirit wants us to, and still the person does not connect, how do I handle it better? I felt like I had failed. I had 2 different clients that just could not connect. For me, it's just a repackage, and every single one of us that go on a mediumship journey, where we're constantly trying to better, and of course we feel like we failed if we don't what we consider nail it or get the confirmation. And this is just part of the package. This is part of mediumship. And you're gonna get it wrong. It's like you're human. It's gonna fail in some areas, and that's just part of it, unfortunately. But for me, I would just repackage it, and what I would do is not give so much information and dial it in. It's really hard to give an example of this, but you can go down the lines of like, I have a what feels like a father here, and I know he worked near the docks, and I know that it's a city that I live in, and I know that he passes in his 70s, and I know that with him, he's got terrible heart problems, like continuous, been to and fro from the doctor for a couple of years. Then he has this plummet in blood pressure, and he has to go to the doctor, goes into hospital and catches an infection and passes. And your client might go, no, I have no idea what you're talking about there. So we can repackage it, we can break it down, but don't offer as much as I just offered there. So I am aware of a gentleman in the spirit world, and you'd understand it to be your father. So your father's in the spirit world. Yes. You'd understand that he works at the docks. No. okay, then you'd understand that his home is near the dock. I don't know why I felt like I made a short trip to the dock and I was at work. So I know that I've got that sense going on there. Yes, he lived near the docks, and yes, he lived close. He worked close by. My mistake, the repackage, I've got it correct. The passing condition is absolutely correct, and he was around that age. Now they're in the right place. Now we can continue the reading. But usually it comes down to, because you're just offering such elaborate information without getting your client to answer you. And I always do it in quite a funny way, because I see a lot of it at like a world famous school very close to my home here, where they'll say things like, and I'm aware of photo albums, and I'm aware he shows me a vineyard, and he shows me this great big vineyard in Portugal, and that he lived and owned 2 or 3 mansions, and he shows me that he's a man. You'd understand that your dad's in the spirit world. And the client will say yes, because their dad is in the spirit world, but they've said yes to everything else prior to that, with the vineyards, the mansions, and the elaborate information, which is wrong. Which is that they don't give the client a lot of time to answer that. So everything that is a statement should be verified as a statement. And of course, I'll have lots of people on here that will disagree with that. But I could literally call every single one of them out, every single one of them, because I go and watch, and that is exactly what people are doing, and that is what is being taught. And so because of that, that's where it looks good. It's a technique that is very successful. You're putting your neck on the line a lot of the time when you say one statement, a short sentence, but a very dialed in evidential statement, and you're waiting for the yes or no there, shows an incredible amount of work in your mediumship and that you are in communication. So I would maybe try that a little bit more, main Biggie. Oh, you've continued it. Next day, they contacted me for further information. It was the same story from Spirit. After checking with their family, they remembered. I was wondering if the Spirit placed more meaning to the message. Maybe. But yeah, that usually happens. I had a demonstration last night in Felixstowe, where a young lady didn't want to take the message from someone of many years ago. She said it was a little bit loose, which I think it was. I agree with her there. So I asked her, who do you want to speak to? Spirit World obviously want to contact you. To which she said no, and then kind of got the ump and left early because I didn't work the communication that she wanted me to, after offering me to work the communication that she wanted me to. So it was a strange thing. Clients can be funny. I'm certain they don't mean to be. And it's a lot of information sometimes when you're going for a reading or giving a reading. It's a huge amount of information that you're giving out. It's someone's life, isn't it? In a very short space. And you're hoping that they remember everything. To then go home and have a bit of a moment to, because they don't get any time in a public demonstration or a one-to-one really, with all this information just being bombarded at them. And it's not until they leave they get a moment of ponder, and they go, oh my God, I said no and I meant yes, that should have been yes, I totally get it now. And so the client comes back, which is exactly what you're saying there. So that also happens. I would get used to that. So Cheryl says, just joined. How do you get more disciplined in the mind? It's just setting time aside. You know, like if I'm working, then I'm working, and everything that comes into my mind, I will speak. When I'm not working, meaning I've stepped off the platform, I'm not doing a reading, I'm not doing Zoom classes, I'm not doing circle, I'm not doing any of those things, then I stop. I do not pay any attention to the spirit world, which can be hard because it's like, it's amazing. And because it's amazing, you want more of it. But that makes us no different to like a drug addict or something like that. I want more, I want more, I want more. And so that discipline comes into play. It's not happening. I need to closed down. I'm not paying any attention to it. And after a few weeks, you get into this very mindful state. The plus points to that is that when your mind moves to the spirit world, you know that feeling. You get the plug in. And once that happens, you never doubt it after that. So it's a good faith builder as well. Ravenfire Phoenix, sorry for a second question. Do not apologise for offering a second question. That's the purpose of the live feed. What do you think of hypnosis videos to see spirit? Do you mean watching hypnosis videos? So like to then be able to see spirit? I don't think I understand the question properly. And I know it's not you, it'll be me. I'm just not very... I just don't read very well in that sense. So I think that's what you mean. I've never heard of it. For me, you don't need that. I don't think you need to do anything like that. I think you're making it harder than it is. So I would say you don't need that. You know, if that's how you meant that question to be. My apologies if it's not. Is this a live feed or just live questions? It's the same thing, Brooke. A live feed is the feed of the stream coming through, and live questions. So, is it live readings? No. Do you have an open circle, Charlie? I'm not a total beginner, but I feel really stuck. Where do you sit? In your circles. My circles are for all levels. I don't run a weekly circle anymore, simply because of the dedication. The dedication's certainly not in my local area. You know, if like Bake Off was on one night and it was getting to the finale, they'll be, I can't make it tonight. Bake Off's on the telly. Do you know what? I don't want you in my class. You know, I would rather work with 8 to 10 people that are dedicated, and from there then I'll give you everything. I'll give you my entire knowledge. And so I do this on Zoom, and I do this in Essex, Harlow in Essex, where I run mentoring programs and workshops. Now there are 3 tiers of workshops. There is a 1-day workshop, 10 till 4:30. There is a weekend workshop, which is 10 a.m. to 9 p.m, then 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That's the weekend one. And then what's the other one? The third one, but I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, and single days, 10 till 9, just one single day. So there's 3 variations there. They are based in Harlow in Essex, and I run Zoom as well, which I'll do that now actually. So that's a good point to get this across. So it's going to actually be part of the giveaway. So there are Zoom classes on August the 7th and on August the 21st. 2 dates are now being added, and they are September the 4th and September the 18th. They're the 2.5 hour ones, right? Yeah, so they're like the 2.5 hour Zoom classes, like a circle for Vi asking now. Then I've got Zoom workshops on August the 4th, but that one is now sold out. And October the 19th and December the 14th, until the end of August, you can get a 12.5% discount if both are booked together. So that's all right, isn't it? If you book 2, you get a little bit of a saving going on there, which is great. Now, if anyone is booked on the August ones, in this giveaway for a September place, which will be the 4th or the 18th, is that right? 4th or the 18th. If you are booked on already on an August the 7th or 21st one, you will have a second name put into the hat. And then I'll just put all the names in the hat. If you're booked on already, you'll have a second name put in the hat, increasing your chance to win. And all you have to do is share your favourite video from the YouTube channel, share it on your platform, but you have to tag my Medium Charlie Kelly Facebook page. And that's all you have to do. If you have any problems with that, then you just contact the page and we will talk you through it. We will help you through it. You have to subscribe to YouTube and you have to like the Medium Charlie Kelly page. So like the page, subscribe to the channel, share your favourite video, and once you've ticked all 3 of those and I've seen it, I will write a little slip of paper with your name on it. It will go into a bowl. Then I'll do a video to draw that like I done the last one. And I will announce the winner when? Yeah, so it'll be the last week of August. I'll announce the winner of that. So you can get a free Zoom class, which is good. I hope. Yeah, that's it. I think that's all I've got to. That's all I've got. That's all I've got to advertise on here today, which is good. So I hope that helps you, Vi. Anyway, oh my God, where did that go? There. So, sorry, I meant to say YouTube. That's cool, Miss Brit86. Okay. Is that Reverend Mary? Do you know what? I'm just gonna butcher that surname. I don't know how to say that. I'm really, really sorry. So Reverend Mary, I'm gonna say. And you're an evidential medium. That's cool. Oh, cool. I'm an evidential medium, but wonder if it's important for me to learn how to receive and develop psychic messages also. Can you explain ways to develop psychic senses, or is better to stay with spirit? Now, do you know, I'm, you know, people that know me, I try to avoid the psychic work as much as I possibly can. But psychic work is very, very simple, Reverend Mary. It's just this, as you have seen me draw a reading card. So let me get the reflection gone. There. So, and all we're doing is reading the information there. So you just need a couple of people to practice with. So what you want is friends or friends of friends, and then gradually build it up. And your intention just goes to them. That's it. And then what you start to unfold, you can go that way. What I used to do was I used to break it down to spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and sort of like just have that intent in my mind. And so I would see like 4 versions of them. Then I would try and interpret it in the best way that I could, and that just helped me dial it in. But you really need your psychic awareness if you're going to go public. You need to know, is the client okay? Is your client liking or not liking what's going on here? How are your audience responding? Do I need to add something to the equation to uplift the energy, or is it very, very stable? So the psychic part of you is very, very important when developing mediumship. So I would definitely say practice it, definitely. But the way you've worded it, I'm very much, I will spend like 98% of my time in development and working with the spirit world. And I just sharpened and every now and again sharpen up my psychic awareness just to keep it firing on all cylinders. But what a great question, Reverend Mary. Okay, so Terry, can your loved ones who passed be your spirit guide, such as my stepdad who passed in '98? He came into my life here on Earth when I was 12, or could my son be a spirit guide? He passed 5 years ago. For me, I think they can be part of the team, Terry. Absolutely. So you've got you. I need to change the camera again. My apologies. So you've got you here, trying to get the best light for this. That's it. So we've got you, and then we've got the guide. Now the guide was there from, you know, that first earthly breath. The guide was already part of the team, already part of it, already taking place. That relationship is formed day one. But what can happen is, if you're comfortable with the idea of your dad and your son being part of that, maybe you listen to them more, then the guide would absolutely want to include that into the team that you have of your spirit team. So in answer to your question, I can simply say I believe they can be. However, I do just want to raise the the understanding that the guide that you assigned and that you agreed the journey with was there from day one. So yes is the answer there, Terry. They can be part of that team. Why wouldn't they? I mean, they would definitely want to be helping you. And if you're listening more and you're doing more and you're trying to help people more because you hope that and you want them to be there within that group, absolutely they would do that. Absolutely. Ian Robson, hi Charlie, great to see you in Colchester. Oh yeah, nice to meet you on the live feed as well, Ian. It was great for you to come along to the demonstration. So you saw me live. I don't know if you liked it or whatever. So it was good to see someone from YouTube and from Instagram. I think I originally met you, Ian. And then come along to one of my events. It's quite strange. I'm still getting used to that part of it. But yeah, it was great to meet you. Deborah, I started getting spirit while texting to my sister-in-law after her husband passed. How do you feel about getting messages through typing? Well, it's just another form of medium, isn't it? There are some outstanding stories where people sit beside a radio and they can hear their loved ones talk through that. You've got physical mediumship, you've got direct voice, you've got spiritual art and artists. I mean, we're in 2019. I'm sure the spirit world are working tirelessly to find new ways to get their message across, and typing and texting, certainly it's not beyond my realms of belief. I would expect it to be there because it's such a large part of our existence now, isn't it? Typing and texting. So absolutely, for me, yes, definitely. Charlie, have you ever had someone that you just could not make a connection for, no matter how good you are? I had one once, Honora, and it was very, very, very difficult. It was very hard. And you know what? It stuck with me. It really, really hurt. It really hurt me, that one. And I think I can share part of the story. I'm just checking. Shouldn't be working. Yeah, so I was working with a barrister from the UK, a very very high profile barrister. And he had got my name from someone, I don't know where, and he had booked an appointment with me. And as I greeted him at the front door, he said to me, I must tell you that if I don't believe that my communication doesn't happen for me today, I will more than likely go home and take my own life. And that was just, that was mind-blowing. Very, very early on in my career, as a medium, going out into the public, a tremendous amount of pressure that I'd put on myself. And that I allowed him to put that kind of pressure on me. And I said, I have what appears to be an 18-year-old boy here, and his passing is suffocation. And he said no. And so I said, you do understand that your son is in the spirit world? He said yes. And I said 18, and he said no. And I was like, oh, okay then. I don't know what I'm getting so wrong there. And he was 17, and his birthday was 1 week later. So he was 17 years and 51 weeks old. And I said 18, and my client said no. So I knew I was in trouble immediately with that. I said, so you understand his passing was to be suffocation? He said no. So I said, well, all I can do is explain to you how I feel and what he's showing me. And I can feel leather on my face, and I feel like I black out, and then the leather covers my mouth and I suffocate. And he said no. And so I asked him, I just said to him, then do you mind sharing? Because he's insistent on this, and I'm trying every other way to do this. And he said he had a seizure on the sofa, and I said, a leather sofa, and he said yes. And so the death certificate said it was a seizure that had caused the pass. But for me, it was the suffocation. So take it whichever way you want. You know, some of you will agree, some of you will maybe disagree. But he was not happy that I had said what I had said. So I called the reading to a halt after that, because no matter what I said, he wasn't going to agree. So that was the one and only time, Honora. Hi Charlie, I only found you last night. Watched several videos today. Thank you for all the guidance. Thank you very much for joining me on the channel, Mick OC. I hope you subscribed. That would be wonderful. Hit that notification bell as well, because then you'll be notified of live feeds and new uploads. Comment on a few of the videos as well, because that absolutely helps the channel as well. Gives me engagement and triggers the algorithm to show it to more people. So I'm grateful that you've joined me here on the live feed this evening. Shane, hi Shane. Hi, I love to hear you talk about the difference in energy between private small groups versus large groups, preference, etc. Loved it. They're all very, very difficult, Shane. So I like one-to-ones. I don't get to do as many as I used to, because my public work now is so demanding. I used to do like small mediumship parties, you know, 6 to 10 people, where I'd go through it, and they were always very difficult. That was like the proper training ground for the public, that was. Because you would say no alcohol, you'll turn up, there'll be 6 to 10 women. They've already rattled through 2 bottles of Prosecco. They're getting loud because they're in a group, and they can be a little bit difficult. So that was good. That was all right. I love doing my own private demonstrations because I'm the boss. And I like to give the client value for money. So it's not unlike me to hold a private event. I need to arrange one actually, where I'll do an hour and 15-minute demonstration, give them a 30-minute break, which at the venue usually there is a bar. I will allow them to have a drink at the bar, but not in the venue. They can go and have a small glass of wine and talk amongst themselves. Smoke a cigarette, whatever, come back and do another hour and 15-minute dem, and go again. Maybe a little bit more experimental, a little bit more challenging for myself, and then offer a Q&A at the end. Give them value. There's nothing worse than paying a £20 plus ticket for whatever name, you can pluck the name out of the air, going for like less than an hour, calling a break, coming out, trying some experimental stuff, totally messing it up, and then calling it a night, like half hour in, and you're not even there an hour and a half, and they've got their money and they're in the car and they're off. They'll have a couple of photos for social media, of course, and show how loved they are. But you're 20, 25 quid out of pocket, and you got 4 communications and 3 others, but they all failed. And I don't like that. So I try with my private groups, I try to give them value for money. And then my church work, you know, I do, 200 spiritual churches a year, not individual churches. I may do 2 bookings, so it may be 100 on the books now. So I enjoy those. They are very hard work as well. But, all of them have their own plus points and downsides. But all of them have taught me very valuable lessons. So all of them hold value. Miss Brit 86, how do you know when you are at the appropriate level to start stepping out on your own mediumship business? I think when you're hitting the mark, if you're consistently doing readings and you're consistently getting yes, I think that's when you need to sort of venture out into the public. For me, I don't really like the idea of business, because what happens is the attention goes to property, overheads. I need to make money, and your attention then swings towards I need to make money. And because you add that into the ingredients, it kind of dilutes your mediumship in some way. So if it forms into a business, that's great, but I wouldn't make it like the be all and end all, you know. So I'm fortunate that I was prepared to sacrifice everything I had owned, owned, and I would always work where I wanted to work, regardless of the paycheck as such. Whether it was worth money or whether I got very little money, I was doing it for the work. And because of that, my reputation grew in that way, which allows me now to do these like live feeds and travel to across the UK, Europe, and America on my own terms. So I would just one step at a time. Don't rush it. Just one step at a time. So now head to the public. Open the readings up to strangers, and then see where it goes from there. I wouldn't rush it. Enjoy the process. So my phone is leaking away. Nothing I need to. So Tony says, when doing a one-to-one reading, would you allow the sitter to request who they want to communicate with instead of the medium just going to get anybody? I'm comfortable doing both. I've got no problems with it. The way I look at it is that, you know, some of these very famous mediums charge ridiculous amounts of money for a one-to-one, don't they? Like ridiculous amounts of money. And it's usually rubbish. But whatever, you know. So let's say you've got 30 minutes and I want your 30 minutes to be the most touching, the most impacting I can make it within your 30-minute section. And if you're going to get that from mum and you want mum, then I've got no problems going to get mum. If I open my mind up, mum should be there. I agree on that statement. But a lot of mediums tend to play the safe card. So they'll go with a nan maybe or a granddad. And it's only because it's safe. So I've got no problems. I do it either way. Each to their own. Everyone's got their own reasoning behind it. That's what I choose to do. I do both very freely, whichever. Brooke, I think I'm missing something. What do you think you're missing? Oh, you've asked. Okay, so can you explain a good way to miss responsibility? Can you explain a good way to conclude a reading? Some say they leave you with their love, or they are pulling the energy back, or something like that has always given. How can this be personalized? I would make the client very aware that the reading is coming to a close. I'm not someone that likes the sound of a bell, you know. Like your 30 minutes are up, come on, I've got another 4 to get going. But some mediums do work to a timetable where they've got 8 people and we do need to stick to time. So I would wrap that up in a very, very normal way. So as I'm drawing myself towards the end of the reading, I would say, now as I'm making my way to the message, your father, your mother, da 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 da, and I would sign it off in that way, you know. So it would be different for every single scenario. I don't like saying they're pulling their energy back, because you'll get some smart ass that will come in and go, but I thought it was infinite. How's the energy depleting? And they would be right, wouldn't they? So it would have to be on a time frame without it sounding rude. You can leave love, but some communications are not about love. It's about accepting that they were naughty or bad. It may be for healing. So I would have to say that each one would be very different. But it's not you know, I think it's more than acceptable to say they leave their love, or I don't like they're pulling their energy back. I'm not comfortable with that. But I'm comfortable with leaving their love, leaving their personality, leaving strength, leaving whatever as I draw this reading to a close. I would do it that way, but they know what they're doing. You know, your client knows that it's for 30 minutes because they should have been informed, or 40 minutes, or whatever your time frame is. And they'll be clock watching anyway, so they'll know it's coming to an end. So the prompt of, as I'm nearing the end of your communication now, I'm going to go to the message, and they'll know that it's rounding up. Deborah, Charlie, I am confused. So if I am trying to change the way I work with spirits, did you say, since I learned from others, you cannot help me because someone like me is too difficult? No. No, that's not what I said at all. I'm saying that if you are someone that believes that you need 30 minutes of protection, meditation, and grounding, then that's you. That's not my style of teaching. So you are finding it more difficult to use someone else as a teacher because you require the protection, you require the grounding, you require the format that you're working with. If I'm saying to you, Deborah, they're going to make you aware in a classroom scenario, they're going to make you aware of their passing condition, then they will make their passing condition aware to you. But if your system is, well, I need the relationship first and I can't feel them on the right side first, that's not the spirit restriction, that is Deborah's restriction. So it's not that you're more difficult for me to work with, it's you're more difficult to work with for yourself. So when I take a class, I ask them to leave all their teaching at the door, because what I'm going to say will conflict with a philosophy that they have been told by someone else. And so my philosophy is very, very similar to that of Silver Birch and Maurice Barbanel, and very similar to that of Estelle Roberts and Red Cloud, because they promoted in a propaganda way the simplicity of spirit communication. And from that day onwards, everyone has taken the egotistical approach or the merch approach. You know, like, I can cleanse you, I can unblock you, I can decalcify your pineal gland, and I am special, and so I am on a pedestal and you can't achieve it, when you can absolutely achieve it in a moment. So the problems or the dilution is that of you, not of me. And so I have to highlight that in some way. So it's not that I can't work with you. I would absolutely work with you, and I'm certain that I will get a more productive mediumship out of you. But you would have to follow the guidance, not what you want to do or what you've been taught before. You have to leave that to one side, and that is the difficult part. Happy to catch you on a live watching from Zionsville, Indiana. So thank you for joining me, Brooke. I'm still a beginner, Brooke. We're all beginners. Misresponsibility. I've seen this a couple of times where a spirit communicator is claimed by another medium, saying that the communicator sounds like another spirit that had in another reading. Is that possible? Would a spirit for another medium's sitter come through to that medium again to be identified, even though the original family member is not there? What? You've seen this a couple of times. Absolutely not. So just no. No is the answer there, Miss Responsibility. No. No. Lorraine, hi Charlie. I almost missed you. You could have called it on replay. So that nothing to worry about there. Tony, Tony, when I sit in, I can't believe Miss Responsibility. What is that? Totally thrown my. I'm gonna have to have a drink. Oh, Tony, when I sit in self-development with my spirit team every night, is there anything specific I should be doing, or just being close to them? I like the idea of you just being close with them. That's absolutely wonderful. However, what I would maybe do is add the intent of maybe tonight this can be our circle. And because this is our circle, maybe you can give me an experience that I can learn from. Now, you may become aware of something, you may not. You may become aware of colours, sensations, emotions, visuals, whatever it'll be, then acknowledge it and then move on. And because you're doing that, you'll notice very, very quickly how quick your mediumship changes. I understand that it may be newish to you and that you've got to do it or you want to do it every night. You don't have to do it every night. You're kind of fueling the drug addict's part of you to go for it. I need to be there. I need to do this. I need to do that. I don't want to discourage you, but every night you will fall into the trap of not knowing what your mind is and what it is when the spirit world is there. So I would give yourself 1 or 2 day break so you definitely know the feeling and the difference between the two with absolute clarity. I would maybe introduce that in some way. Have a night off. Oh, that jumped a huge amount now. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get through these. There it is. I get a weird kind of like nervous, but not really feeling in the stomach or chill on the arm or something. Lately, I've been getting extremely loud ring-like noise. One of my ears. Doctors haven't got anything for it. I noticed when I got the siren in my ear, the raccoon is outside trying to get my chickens every time I check. So I put it like a spirit alarm telling me, hello, pay attention. Absolutely. And what a wonderful relationship that is with the spirit world, that the raccoons are in trying to steal your chickens. That's wonderful. I like that story. Well done. You will get the nerves. It does make me. It took me a while to work it out, you know. But I'm drawing it now. Swap camera. So the nerves are not nerves. It's what we call the vibrational change or the frequency lifting up when we join with the spirit world. So as the spirit team, guide, communicator, whatever one you want, in this area here, that's where they help you get to that space where you need to be, your frequency or your vibration, whatever term you want. That there, and that feeling is nervous, sickness, nausea. Oh my God, I'm going to throw up, sweating, that sort of stuff. I for most of my demonstrations, I actually need to take 2 shirts for an hour's dem. Because as I finish my demonstration, I could wring it out. There's that much sweat in it. I absolutely hate that part of it. But that's what happens. But love your story, M. Lansing. When I get a loud ringing in my ears, all I'm gonna think now is raccoons. That's all I'm gonna think now. Vitality Bristol. In your experience, is this type of work helpful for people stuck in a rut with chronic health issues? Absolutely. Without it sounding terrible, I need to just find a way to present it. I find that when let me use me as the example. So I was in Italy last week. I was working around the Lake Como area, doing lots of one-to-ones and doing demonstration and that kind of stuff. And in the some of you would have seen it on Facebook. In the morning, I'd run up these ridiculously big mountains and I would run back down. I'd feel absolutely brilliant for it. And I've come home and I've been here about 4 days now. I haven't done any kind of exercise. And I've pulled my back. I've pulled my back now. And it's because I'm not exercising. It's because I'm not using my body in the way that it's designed to be used, to be moved around in the way that it needs to be moved around. And so what happens is my body's now telling me you need to move, you need to limber up, you need to loosen up. So my body is telling me. And so because of my awareness through my spiritual development, I'm more aware of my body. I'm more hypersensitive, that I know when I'm going to have a problem, and I can start to work, run up mountains, do a little bit of exercise, take on more water, etc. And that stops me from having chronic illnesses or problems. And so it means that there's something going on in my frequency, in my aura. Let me draw it for you. In my aura, that is going on, you know. So maybe I've got like this. I nearly drew something wrong there. So what I'll do is I'll do that, and that is a back issue within my energy. And what it means is that my body is not in sync. It's not in harmony. And so that's where it comes from. The frequency of my body is not at ease. So it's a dis-ease. Dis-ease. My body's not in sync. It's not in harmony. So I need to do more exercise. Therefore, I come into harmony. I come into alignment. And now I can move it forward. And my body should be all right after that. So in answer to your question, it will absolutely help you. Absolutely. Holistically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Absolutely. And it's crazy that your name is called Vitality, and you're asking a question about chronic health issues. That's all you. Lorraine, Charlie, I set an intention in my mind to speak to spirit, and I feel like I am talking to my dad, who I lost a few months ago. Not sure if it's really my dad, or is it my mind wanting it to be him? I understand that, Lorraine. You know, like there are times where I think, oh, you know, is that my dad? Is that my team? Is that my whatever? But the very fact that you have set the intention would make me argue that, you know. So if I set the intention to work with my sister, who is in the spirit world, I never hear her voice now. I never hear it, but I get the emotion, and I get the sensitivity of her in my awareness, but I don't hear her voice. That's not to say I can't hear her voice. Maybe my mind can't handle that. Your mind sounds like it can handle your dad's voice. If you're setting the intention and you're going to the spirit world, you know you're going to the spirit world, so you have development under your belt and you know what you're doing, and you are hearing your father, then I would absolutely say that that is your father. Absolutely. Oh, Ian, I loved it. Go see Charlie work. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you, and puts me a little bit more at ease now, Ian. So that's a good thing. Carol is asking, please put Zoom giveaway on your video share. So if you are taking part in the competition, when you tag the page, also like hashtag or something like that, Zoom giveaway. So we know which ones we're finding. Don't want it getting lost in amongst everything. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, tagging's not working. So you're going to have to go and post your favourite video to the page with your name and Zoom giveaway. And then that way it'll all work just easier that way. Nice and easy. Yep, got it. Might be best if you go... Oh, that's you. Hi, Charlie. Is lucid dreaming a common occurrence when developing? When I alter my mind state and I ask my guides to come, I get periods of lucid visuals and audio, but nothing that makes much sense. For me, it makes sense that lucid dreaming, astral traveling becomes a lot more frequent within your development. That makes absolute sense to me. Astral traveling is not my field. That's a field all on its own, and lucid dreaming is a field all on its own. But for me, absolutely. There is someone that I've recently worked with called Jade Shaw, SHAW. And she's a nice girl, you know. She's new to teaching, and she's got a huge following on Instagram and on YouTube. And she deals with astral traveling. She travels the world and does lectures on that. And her husband, Charlie Morley, I think that's his name, Charlie something, and he does a lot of lucid dreaming stuff. So it's not really my subject, and it's like me being a mental medium, doing platform demonstrations and one-to-ones, and talking about physical mediumship. You know, like some of these idiots that are physical mediums thinking they know what a platform medium is. It don't work that way. My field is, my expertise is one-to-ones, teaching, and mental mediumship. And so astral traveling and lucid dreaming is a whole section on its own. And I think Jade Shaw's going to be like the leading one in the area there. You'll find her going through my Instagram or on maybe on my YouTube, maybe on my Facebook, but I see a lot of her on Instagram mainly. So maybe look her up. So it's JADE space SHAW. If you are going there, tell her I sent you. Unless you're going to give her abuse, then don't say I sent you. I don't need that. Is that Tara? Tara? Terry? That's not Terry. Hi, Charlie. Will you be offering your shorter Zoom classes on other days other than Wednesday? Just curious. Hope to attend another soon. If they are still in demand, I will look at doing different days, Tara. It's just, it was so late in the year when these got introduced that I had to find these little gaps. And Wednesdays must have been gaps. So my apologies if you can't make it on that one. I've done my absolute best to get as many as I can in there for the demand that I'm facing with the diary that I already had in place. You know, my bookings are now 2021 at the moment, and we're still in August 2019. You know, it's crazy. So if I can, I will do what I can to accommodate as many people as I can. Yeah. Oh, hi, Chris. Nice to see you. So Chris is from sunny California. I'm gonna go and see Chris at some point. I so want to go out to California. So I will definitely be making my way out there to see Chris. And Chris has a good reputation for his mediumship out there. Maybe hit Chris Meredith up on Facebook, or if you're from the Cali area, maybe book in and have a reading with him. Terry, what is a decent and fair price to charge for a 1 hour reading? I agree with you that some mediums charge outrageous prices. First of all, don't do an hour. You can do everything you can in a communication in 30 minutes. I wouldn't do an hour. An hour is just too long. And you end up devaluing what you've done. So just get the real punchy stuff in 30 minutes. If you must, then go to 45 minutes, but don't do an hour. It's too much. I don't know where you're from, Terry, so I can't give you any kind of guidance. I would need to know where you're from to give you a price structure. Because like, take New York, for example. When I was in New York, I done some readings out there, and local circle workers, so people that are not professional but are in circle, was $180 because they were in circle. And anyone with any kind of certification or professionalism to them was anything above $300 for 30 minutes. So that's in New York. If you do that in Essex, you're not going to get a booking, not a single booking. So it's down to wherever you are. That needs to be fair. It needs to be fair. How do you feel about opening up chakras or a bit of breath work? Maybe a prayer prior to a one-to-one reading. You're probably new to the channel, Terry, with a question like that. Any more talk on opening and closing chakras, I will have to ban you. I will have to kick you out, and so on and so forth. You can't open and close chakras. You can't do it. If you open them, you're alive. If you close them, you're dead. So none of that. None of that there. Breath work, I understand, gives the clarity of mind. So if you feel better for doing that, absolutely do that. And saying a prayer, what a nice thing to do. That I haven't heard someone say something like that for a long, long time. So absolutely, say a prayer. Go to your divine, your God, your source, your creator, whatever that is, and offer a prayer. What a wonderful statement. I wonder how many do that still. Put it in the comments if you say a prayer before work. What a wonderful question. I might steal that. I might do a video on that. I really like that. Hazel, hey Charlie and everyone. Sorry so late. I'm sure I missed a lot of great information. Yep, you have. I'm joking. You can watch it on replay. You missed a giveaway. You'll have to watch it on replay. Reverend Mary, at the beginning of reading, what are the standard words you say to spirit and then out loud to your client to begin the reading? My intention just goes there. I don't have a set way. I don't have a set way to do that. The moment my mind goes there, it's omnipresent, the spirit world. So the moment my mind goes there, I know they're there. So it's not like, please join me, please come. It's not like that for me. It's just, it's there. It's immediate. And with the client, I would just instruct the reading's about to start. Are you comfortable? Have you had a reading before? Yes. So you know what to expect. Yes. And then dependent on what the ingredients are, then I'll say, then I'm going to start the reading and your mum joins me. And I know it's your mum because of, and then I will go into the reading. That's just the way I do it. Very, very simple. Very simple. Honora, Charlie, would you say that you had one particular reading that you would say was the most powerful one you have ever had? How good was it? Please share. Seems a little bit egotistical coming from me to do it that way. I have had very profound readings, Honora, good and bad. I can't share the details. I kind of see mediumship readings as doctor-patient confidentiality. It's just something I'm not entirely comfortable with. But there's a bit of one that I can maybe share a little bit there, where I had someone come in and almost challenge me. They sat down and said, I want one friend and that's it. That's all you're getting. One friend, go get my friend. And the lady in front of me was 60 plus, I would say. And her best friend was 30, 31, 32 years old. So that the 31, 32-year-old stepped forward in horrific circumstances, how she passed, which I'm not going to share. And I remember sitting there going, wow, logically, her friend would be around the same age. And I've put in the intention, she only wants her friend. So friend stepped forward and a 31-year-old lady turned up. And I was brave enough to say it. And I was kind of like, wow, I'm happy with that. So that would be as much as I can share there. That jumped, sorry. Hi, Charlie. Nearly missed the story. You haven't missed it. You can all watch it on replay. You can all share it as well afterwards if you like. Thanks for explaining that. I have been working on doing that. Letting go of all ritual. Let go of them all. And the moment you do that, I promise you will notice a marked improvement immediately. It will be immediate. Shane, more specifically, I average 6 to 8 in small groups, and I have a request for a large group. So obviously, I'm thrilled for the opportunity, but shaking in my boots because I've never done more than 8. Thoughts? My thoughts are go for it, absolutely. This will be hard for some of you to accept, maybe. If I've got a demonstration and I have 20 people in the audience, that demonstration will go well, but I will have to work hard for it. If I'm doing a demonstration for 2,500 people, I have that much more energy that I can sail through it. Absolutely sail through. No problems whatsoever. The bigger, the better, because I've got more energy. There's more fuel to be had in the tank. So keep going, keep growing. So you've never done more than 8, so you want to do 9. And then you want to up it. Then you want to up it. Then you want to up it. And just see how you get on with it. You'll absolutely love it. And that way you'll realise, what was I worried about? Tony, your latest video, you filled the glass talking about not having enough room for spirit. If this happens during a reading, how can I begin to empty it again in front of the sitter? You do this. Give me a moment. I'm dry. I need a drink. Now. Do it now. And now. Continue. That easy. Yes, my pet chicken has no eyes. It ripped her wing off, so I took her for surgery day before yesterday. Now she is blind and with one wing. That is unbelievable. Wow, unbelievable. At least it survived. I mean, but that's harsh, isn't it? I mean, that chicken was just minding its own day. Some cheeky raccoon comes in, has its eyes and has a wing. Harsh. Very harsh. Making sure, right, okay. Wow, what a story M lands in. I forgot your first name. Forgot it. No. Melanie, is it? Melanie. I don't know. Thanks for the update. No worries. Just me. Just me. I love that name. After going backwards from a bad class, how do we recover? After going backwards from a bad class, how do we recover? You learn from it. You take whatever positive you can from it, and you learn. And what you do is you look for it, you log it, and then you use it as power, not as a demotivator or something that zaps your energy or takes your energy away. You've just got to wipe the slate clean and go from there. You know, you're allowed to make mistakes. You will learn more from your mistakes than you will learn from your yeses. That I guarantee you. But find a single positive from it and then let it go, because it just won't. It's not serving you at all. This responsibility. You and other teachers emphasize about not worrying about getting it right, but also emphasize how it is important for things to be evidential. Can you explain this more if you are starting out? Absolutely. So that comes off the back of Just Me and their comment. So the person's name is Just Me. You can see that on the screen, right? And what I emphasize is, don't. You will put so much pressure on yourself to be right. I've got to be right. I've got to be good. I've got to... And that's in everything we do. That's our little self-important part of us. That's the ego kicking in. And so we will do that. We will want to be right. But I always emphasize also that you will learn from getting those. So if you keep saying nan and it's not nan, and you keep... you keep trying to get the passing conditions, but it's no, and you have 2, 3, 4 months of no. On the 5th month, it's yes, because you're starting to get like a marker for it. I've done a video on this, which is the measuring stick of mediumship. I can maybe update that video a little bit. But I like that video. It's a good video. But what happens is, to give you an idea of, in the UK, we call mediumship clairvoyance. The terminology is actually wrong because that's just seeing. But here it's called clairvoyance. And what happens is, and there is a video, I'm sure Carol will put it into the chat for you to be able to find it later on, or open it in a new window and watch it later on. What am I doing? Camera. What happens is that you've got like a ruler. Do you remember a ruler at school? So that would be 0 to 30 centimeters or inches if you're of a particular age. And what happens is we've got like ages, passing conditions, hobbies, problems, mannerisms, characteristics, and we just start to fill in this ruler. But each one of these, like let's take age for example, age will come down, and age will have its own ruler, and we learn what 1 feels like, 2 feels like, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth, up to whatever their passing age is. And then we've got the next one that comes out, and we've got passing conditions. Passing conditions has its own measuring stick. And so now we've got cancer, we've got accident, we've got natural causes, we've got lung problems, liver problems, etc. But now this ruler, passing conditions, passing, cancer, that one of cancer will come down, and that'll have its own one. And there are over 300 cancers, so there'll be 300 marks on there. So you have to learn to get it wrong, so you know what that mark is on your ruler, so you know what it is. So eventually, in the future, you get a lot right. You get a tremendous amount right. And so we have to focus on evidence, because if not, the standard falls. So I emphasize evidence, but I emphasize get it wrong to get it right. And that's also a video, which I will also get placed in the chat for you. I hope that answers your Mr. Responsibility. You remind me of like a comedy store or something like that, you know, like where a patient goes in and asks for their friend. You've wrote that question like you're asking for your friend, but they're frightened to ask. That's how you wrote that. That's cool. Terry, you're in California. Then you should hook up with Chris. Chris Meredith. He's 2 below you. Click on him. Book in for a reading. He's meant to be good. Lorraine, I would love to get a reading. I am from Ipswich, but now live in Las Vegas, and no one comes here. You know, you can set it up. What's the famous center in Las Vegas? What's that center? What's the big one? We can hook that up. Thanks, Charlie, for the shout out. Have the chip buddies waiting and the fish tacos. You crack me up, Chris. You crack me up. Thank you for doing these lives and videos. No problem at all. Thanks for watching. There's no point doing them if no one watches them, is there? Elaine, I say a prayer before I connect with spirit, but I'm not a working medium. That doesn't matter, does it? That's still an absolutely beautiful thought. Really, really good. I belong to a Facebook page where we offer free readings. I've noticed a lot of the mediums get sick. Why do you think that is happening? Could they not be protecting themselves or have no boundaries? Again, Terry, that's another thing. I know that you're new to the channel. There is a video called Open, Close and Protect. It's an old video now, but it will still serve its purpose. I'll get that put in the comments below for you. Go watch that. That will help you a lot. A lot of the mediums get sick because they're not mediums. They're not working it properly. That's a psychic mechanic. And so if I'm working psychically, they're not doing evidential mediumship. They're doing psychic work. They are reading. Let me change the camera. They are reading the energy of another person, whether that be over a screen or not. I'm still moving my energy to read for that. That is a limited process to the individual here. So if I don't look after myself, if I don't take enough nutrients and take enough fluids, and I look after my health and so on and so forth, and I'm constantly working psychically, this depletes very quickly, causing dis-ease, not in harmony, sickness, so on and so forth, because they're limited. However, if I replace this with the spirit world, then that plug-in is unlimited. It's infinite. So the energy can continue. I feel nourished. I feel like I can work and work and work, and I don't get sick because I'm looking after myself, because I'm working with the infinite. Very, very simple mechanic there, Terry. I hope that answers you. I hope I'm not too blunt for you immediately, Terry. I should maybe ease you in. Oh, it jumped there. I'm so sorry. Let me just try and find it again. Oh, I think I found it. Yep, there we go. I agree about privacy, main. Yep. I do say a prayer. Good, Terry. Good, nice to hear. Always say a prayer. Would you? Would I what, Chris? Would you? I don't know what that means. Misresponsibility. Of course, you have done a video on the topic. I probably watched it, gave it a thumbs up, liked it, even commented, but completely forgot about it. Perfect. Ian, any advice, please, Charlie, for improving the continuity of the flow of information in a one-to-one? I can get detailed evidence, but in a one-to-one, I have periods of silence when nothing comes. Very stop and start. It's hard to draw this one, but I will try. Very, very, very hard to draw. There. So, your client here, and what you're doing is like you're like that's a seesaw, by the way. And so what I'm doing is when I'm offering the information here, I lean back and I'm grabbing information from here. And so then it's just like it ends up in this to-ing and fro-ing, to-ing and fro-ing, to-ing and fro-ing. What a lot of people are doing is they're going for one statement, I'll go and give that statement. And then there's a pause. Then I'll go back and I'll get another statement and I'll give that statement. And then I'll go again and I'll give that statement. So on and so forth. Whereas when I'm speaking, I'm already lining up my next question. Not question, I don't do questions. I'm already lining up my next statement. And so it's like a balancing act. So I just keep it coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And you'll find that with a little bit of practice that it will come that way. If you get the idea in your head, Ian, if you get the idea in your head that it's unlimited, the power is unlimited, then you set the intention for unlimited. You know it's there, you've just got to find it. Which is an easy walk around in the mind because you know you're missing it. Not the spirit world are not giving you it, you're missing it. And because you're missing it, you won't like that. So where is it? Let me find it. Because we don't like to get it wrong. So it's an easy walk around. You'll notice a very, very quick difference there. Hopefully that helps you, Ian. I'll try and work another way of saying that out. See if there's another way I can present it for you if you haven't got that. Megan. Of course it's Megan. Sorry, Megan. What if the sitter wants to talk with two past loved ones at the same time? Should the medium try and speak with both at the same time? I would just speak with both. Again, very simple. It's very easy if it's male and female, because it's male and female. It's very easy. So your dad makes me aware of, and now I know I need to say this about mum, and then dad does this, and mum does that, and dad does this, and mum does that. And I'll just conduct the reading in that way. A little bit more difficult if it's two females, and if they're the same age. So then I have to restrict the reading by separating them left to right. So when I feed it from the left, I then give that information from this person, and then from this side, I will give it from there. But my restriction is put on because I don't want to muddle them up. But a very restrictive way of working. But I would work it. Yeah, absolutely. What happened there? Sorry. Oh, there it is. That's an awesome explanation. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for doing this. I love all your answers and resources. No problem at all. You know, I got up this week, and I don't know if it's like the onset of a slight depression. I'll keep an eye on it. I'm very, very mindful of it. I didn't want the camera this week. I didn't want to pick it up. Didn't want to do it this week. And it's the first time I've really thought, do you know what? I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting annoyed. And I actually considered just stopping. Hence the bluntness in my last video, I think. Just because of the nonsense that's out there, and I feel like a very small voice in a very, very, a small fish in a very big pond. But I feel like, you know, I'll get back on top of it. I'll get back to it, and hopefully I get the drive to sort of jump up and go and record. So John says, Charlie, I did a prayer this Wednesday in our weekly group, open and closing. Well done, John. Very, very pleased to hear it. Terry, thank you. Saying thank you to Carol. Elaine, thanks, Charlie. Love these lives. Got to go. Up at 4:15 for work. Oh my god, not good. How are we doing for time? So what's that? An hour and a half ish. Oh, you got a little bit of time left. Yeah, I've got the clock on here. Where am I? I know that consistency of evidence is important, but what if the consistency of evidence is very basic, non-descriptive, or common sense? Do you believe the second component before you charge is detail? Oh, I know that consistency of evidence is important, but what if the consistency of evidence is very basic? If it's basic, if it's generic, you can't change it, can you? It's basic and it's generic. It's their story. It's what they're about. And if it's common sense, it's common sense. I mean, there are some people out there that they are generic. They are basic. They are normal. So absolutely, you have to go with it because that's their story. But, you know, if I work with someone that is like last night, I worked with a man that was incredibly boring. I mean, he was very, very boring. And he didn't do anything. He had one subject that he would speak about. And in that process of the communication, everything felt hard work because he was boring. He was quiet. He was reclusive. He was introvert. He was just into this subject. So the common sense place to go, the subject. Now I've got his passion. Now I've got the energy. Now I can move it forward. Some people's passion is annoying people. Some people's passion is trying to destroy other people. Some people's passion is mediumship. Other people's passion can be moaning. You will find something and they will be passionate about it in some way. And because of that, you can fill the time that you have, because we only have 30 minutes or platform demonstration 7 to 10 minutes. So you will easily fill it in that sense. I know detail is a subjective term, absolutely, but something that is certainly definable, absolutely. So I think you knew my answer there, Miss Responsibility. But it was a good question. No problem, Ian. Hi from Lillian and Stephanie in Geneva. So hi, Geneva. Hi, Lillian. Hi, Stephanie. Tony. It just jumped. My God. So Tony is thanking Ian for a wonderful question. So well done. Charlie, one step at a time. Hugs. Miss Responsibility. Lately, I have been getting more than one communicator coming forward in a reading. I know they are there in the queue, as you say. I don't get them confused or blended during the reading, but you've continued it. But definitely take note that there. Is this just my awareness is being expanded, or is it just the way I'm perceiving it? It's both, Miss Responsibility. Oh, yeah, it's both. And what you're doing, what will happen, and I don't mean it as a warning. I warn you, this will happen. But if, let's say you do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 readings, and each time, you know, you start to, I'm bringing 2 through, there's 2 there, there's 4 there, there's 5 there. What you'll fall into the trap of is consciously, subconsciously having that intention, without meaning it to be an intention, to expect 2, 3, 4, 5 people to be there. So, you know, it's like, try not to worry about it. Try not to give it too much power. But that's what will happen. It will keep happening. And it's a discipline of mine. So if I'm aware of 2, get out. One of you get out. I'll talk here. Then I'll pass on. If I need the second one, they'll present themselves again. And then I can move forward from there. Yeah. Main, I did sense your frustration. I almost thought I may not be a medium. Laugh out loud. Until you watched that video, until I had to go at people. Frustration as it is, we all have been there sometimes. We just need to take time for ourselves. Absolutely. Steve Kent, love the way you say it. How it is. That's I'm developing quite the reputation for that. No problem, Honora. I never know what you're going to say, Charlie. Tony, how deep down the rabbit hole should you go with detail from Spirit? So if Spirit says, I drove big semi-trucks, how much more detail should the medium give about that statement? Good question. Sorry for the silence there. So let me swap camera. So as the information comes in here, it will come in semi-trucks. I have a gentleman here and he drives semi-trucks, or drove semi-trucks. Then you will have an awareness that goes much deeper to the next statement. Then to the next statement. And it will just keep filling up. If you know it's a throwaway comment, it will feel like it's small. It will feel like there's not much there. But if I, it's almost in the way that it's being told to you. You know, like, let me give you an example. There's always stories that come out. There's always stories that come out where you know there's more to the story. So let me give you an example. On Facebook today, there is a medium that causes so much problems for himself by keep answering the trolls, by keep answering people that are acting negatively against him. End of story. But now there's a bit of you that's like, oh, who's he talking about? What is it? I'm going to go on Facebook. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to look into that. And that's exactly what your mind needs to do in mediumship. You need to feel it. So I used to drive semi-trucks for a living. Right? Okay. Is there more to that or not? And so you will know. You will know. So like, I love doing this, but you can feel the butt coming. You can feel it. And so you know there's more to the story. So that's how you know. You do it through your sensitivity. Chris, remember, as you well know, every experience has it. Absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. Your favourite video so far? I was so nervous about putting it out. Wow, I'm at the end. I can't believe that. I'm at the end of the questions. Okay, so this will be the slow wind up. If there's any last questions, any burning questions you have on your mind, then I don't mind hanging on for a few moments. There is one that's just come in, so no problem. What I will do is, while you're typing away frantically, the rest of you, I will very quickly do the Zoom class thing again. So on August the 7th and August the 21st, we have Zoom classes. And 2 new dates have been added for September the 4th and for September the 18th. Zoom workshops, October the 19th and December the 14th. And if you book both at the same time, you will receive a 12.5% discount. It's all on the Medium Charlie Kelly Facebook page, or it's on www.mediumcharliekelly.co.uk. And then the giveaway. Share your favourite video to the page. Yeah. For the giveaway, subscribe to the channel, like the Medium Charlie Kelly Facebook page, pick your favourite video from Charlie's YouTube channel, click share, copy the link, and go post it on the page, I assume, or on their page, yeah? No. On the Medium page, and that way we can monitor it with what's going on. So Miss Responsibility says, to add to Tony's question, explain what a throwaway feels like. It seems like with some evidence, mediums give it as a throwaway, but some will dive into patterns of curtains, which is better. Which is, oh, you're asking me which is better. You know, the way I work, the way that I do a demonstration is like, for me, a throwaway is I'll go, I've got your dad here, right? And your dad shows me that he's walking down Bow Road in London. So I know he's from the East End of London. And he shows me that he works on the council. Now, Dad, John being the throwaway, I'm just throwing it away. Super evidential, bang. One word, one super evidential statement, throw it away. Don't even make a fuss of it. And then John shows me that he worked there for 25 years. And this job on the council, now I'm going to go in depth, was actually on the disposal side of things, like the bin men, the garbage men. And he drove the truck. And he absolutely loved this truck. He would drive it 6 days a week, and now I'm starting to go into depth with it. The throwaway for me was his name, because there's no value in the name, but the client is happy, and I've just thrown it away. I knew it was going to be impacting. I knew it was going to be have punch, but I don't need to highlight like statements like that. I can just throw it away, and I'll work with the essence of Dad, which I feel needs diving into. If that makes sense. So does that make sense, Miss Responsibility? I think it does. I need to wait for your answer. So why do channelers put on a silly voice? Because they're stupid, Raven, Fire, Phoenix. Delusional, do nothing but damage spirituality and the name that goes with it. So that's why. That's why. Because they're idiots. Just had lunch. So throwaway is like dates, names, etc. It can be, you know, like it can also be. Throwaway can be like, you know, like you used to visit the coast every year with your dad. Yep, throwaway. Unless, you know, you would live there 3 months of the year, then you would go back to your hometown. So I know I need to talk about the coast a little bit more, giving it more in depth. But because it was just, you know, once a year, just throw it away. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully. So, well, I need a drink. I hope you've all enjoyed the evening. And as always, I try and engage with the channel. I think you see that I try and engage with the channel. I do need your engagement. I do need your help. I do need the comments. I do need your thumbs up or your thumbs down. Whatever one you want to choose there, because it is engagement. You sharing it would be a wonderful thing as well, if you would just share a couple here and there. Maybe share a video and write your views about it, or a recommendation or something like that. Try and push a few more people that way. Because I only have the voice if you guys let me have the voice. It's as simple as that, isn't it? So Yeah, that's it. Any ideas that you want for a video, you can always contact the page. You can always contact me on any video that you watch, and I will jot it down, and I will try my best to grab my camera and give you a visual explanation of your question in the best way that I can. Some of them can be funny. Some of them can be special effects. Some of them can be humorous. Some of them can be just downright blunt. So, you know, whatever ideas you want, then I will do my absolute best to get that across. Don't forget to check the website and the Facebook page for all the events. Any questions you have on any of the events, please just get in contact on inbox, where Carol will quite happily answer any questions that you have, any availability that is left, and any problems you may have with payments. Then Carol does her absolute best to help out where she can. So it's just one of those. I will schedule another live feed shortly. I maybe have to do one on Facebook at some point as well. I need to record a video or a few videos. I have no doubt I will see you soon. Thank you for spending your evening with me, as always. And if I don't see you on here, hopefully one day I'll see you at my platform, like our guest this evening, Ian, did, where you get to see me work in real time, with real clients, with real problems, with the real spirit world, without the love and light nonsense that we definitely see a lot of. Don't forget to like, share, thumbs up, comment, all that stuff. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you all next time. I will leave the adverts run at the end for 5 minutes maybe, just so it can go onto YouTube. For now, look after yourselves, and I will see you all next time. Ciao.